Hey guys, MarshmallonFluff here, and I'm going to be showing you guys a deck profile on Fire Fists. So let's hear what this guy has to say.
Alright, first off, with any Fire Fist deck, you're going to have the three main spell cards. Starting off with 2 Tensu. Some people run 3, I run 2. No need to run 3. No need to run 3 whatsoever. 10 Ki is something that you would want to run 3 of. Of course, it's like a reinforcement of the army, only for Beast Warriors. These cards can go in a majority of decks, from Fire Fist to X-Saber to pretty much you name it that features a lot of Beast Warrior. Great card to have for a lot of decks. Probably one of the most expensive normal cards that is out right now. Some people run 2 Tensins. Some people run 3. I personally run 2, just to get the deck down to the number I wanted to have it at, which is 42 cards. 41, 42 is fine. I wouldn't go a number above that, but 2 is what I will go for. This card that I'm about to show you is something that I personally like. Not too many Fire Fist decks I have seen shows this or have this card, but I believe that it's a great card to have. Basically, what this card does, it just makes your monster invulnerable for a turn. So it gets over a lot of cards. Torrential, Mirror Force, it gets over a lot. It can only be activated during main phase 1, which is the only drawback. So it is susceptible to Lance for a chain. However, only way you can pretty much get over your monster is if you're attacking with a higher attack power than their monster is according to. And all Beast Warriors gain 300 attack points. So I personally like the card. Now for the monsters that go along with the deck. I run 3 Gorillas. Throughout my dueling career, I have never really had problems with getting monsters off the field. My personal weakness has been spells and traps. That's why I run 3 Gorillas. Now, as time goes by, I may side deck one for the new cards that's going to come out in Tachyon Galaxy. But since that day's not here yet and we're not talking about that feature or that set, this is what I'm going for right now. Now, do I have 3 bears? Yes. Am I running 3 bears? No. Like I said, monster removal is something that I do not have much issue with. I run 2 bears because, one, I hardly ever go in a bear because I have so many other ways to get monsters off the field. As I go through this deck profile, you're going to see what other tactics I use. So I only run 2 bears. But then again, most preferably, people are going to run 3. Like I said, my deck profile, my rules. Play me if you think that it's a bad idea. This is another of my choice. Most decks run 2 dragons. No, most decks run 1, I'm sorry. I run 2. Now, I like Dragon for his other effect where you could send a number of Fire Fist formation cards to the graveyard to special summon one Fire Fist monster from your deck. I like doing that. And I also like the opening move that I have with Fire Fist Dragon, which is basically Summon Dragon, use Tensu that allows you to do an extra summon. You set another trap Fire Formation card, and you can pretty much get your back row ready for the next round. Gene Warp Werewolf. Everybody's running this in their build. I run it in mine too. It's pretty much like a staple in the build. This is what I run differently than most builds. I run Gladiator Beast Andale because it's another 1900 attack vanilla Beast Warrior. Which, once I go over the extra deck, you'll understand why I run it. Because you have so many more options with this. Thank goodness for the ban list not touching Rescue Rabbit.
Yeah.
Self-explanatory. There's no need to go over that. I do main deck 2 Effect Veilers because, like I said, I worry more about monsters than I do about spells and traps. So, 2 Veilers to me is more like a necessity for this deck, especially if you're going against Mirror Match or Dino Rabbit, which is the only 2 decks I have noticed that gives Fire Fist the most trouble. I do main 1 Maxi. I also side 1 Maxi. But Maxi has his own reasons. Like I said, card advantage is everything in this format and in this particular game. So I do main 1 Maxi. I run 2 MSTs. Most run 3, I run 2. Like I said before, and I'm going to repeat it myself again, I mostly concern myself with monster removal. Of course, you got your 2 Bottomless. 2 Compulse. Optional. I just prefer to have 2 Compulse. Never let me down before. Of course, the previously known as Solemn Brigade is now the Solemn Duo. You got your Monster Reborn, your Dark Hole. Now these next 5 cards are the cards that set my deck apart from all others. Now I know most of you players out there are familiar with Lance. Lance is a big card in this format, a very big card. And tell you the truth, it is a real issue against Fire Fist, solely for the purpose of the Fire Fist formation cards. They will have no effect on the monster, so they do not get any attack boost or any other added effect once that monster is targeted by Lance. I do main 1 Lance, but the next card I'm going to show is the reason why I main 1 Lance. Like I said, Lance is a big issue for Fire Fist. This is why I run 2 Shrink. Now, you're probably wondering, why would you run Shrink? Well, let's just say you're going into battle phase with your bear, your dragon, or your gorilla. They lance you. What are you going to do? Well, I found an answer to that. I use Shrink. It's a great card to counter a lance. You lance me, I shrink you, I still run over you, I still get my effects off. Try it. I do run Mind Control for Exceed reasons, and plus to take a monster off the field will never hurt either. Most likely, it comes in handy, believe it or not. I know Mind Control is becoming a card that's less talked about as the formats come and go, but I still have great respect for the card. That's why I continue to use it. Onslaught of the Fire Kings. This card allows you to special summon 1 fire monster from your deck if you do not control a monster and your opponent does. Now, the reason why I run 1 is because there are many times where I'm only down to 1 monster in my hand. My hand size is low. Somehow, some way, I'm only down to 1 monster, no fire formations, no whatsoever, and I need to go into a certain Exceed. Onslaught of Fire Kings is a perfect answer to that question. To that issue. Now, I wouldn't suggest you run any more than 1, but like I said before, you're going to come across all types of situations. Not to mention, it's kind of amazing having these 2 in your hand, especially when your opponent has a level 4 on the field. And that's my Fire Fist deck. It's a 42 card deck. Now let me go into the extra deck. Starting with the cards that, of course, every Fire Fist deck has. Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Tiger King. You only run 2 copies of this card. 3 is just taking up space in your extra deck. 2 will be more than enough to get you where you need to be. I like this card for several reasons. 1, the initial effect as soon as it's exceed summon. 2, the third effect it has, which allows you to send 3 fire formation cards to the graveyard to special summon 2 Beast Warrior type monsters with the same attack, so you can go into your next Tiger King or any other rank 4 that you need. And then you know about the second effect, which negates all face-up monsters on the field that's not Beast Warrior. As you probably heard in other deck profiles, Black Shippocorn number 50. It is pretty much going to be a staple among all rank 4s. So you can pretty much guarantee that they're going to have that right along with Utopia and Proper Imperative, which I also do have. Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller is a neat little card. I never really believed in it until I had the extra room because I took out a certain card. I actually took out my rank 3s because my Firefist deck is pretty much all rank 4s. So as you take out the Leviathan Dragons, the Leviers, the Acid Golems, and the Zenmains, I found that I had a lot of space open. So I put Abyss Dweller in there. Of course, this little annoying card is, what it does. Burn you for 800. Or it can take over 2,500 depending on which position it's in. If you don't have one, I recommend you get one while they're still at the price they are now. Diamond Direwolf. This card is perfect for this format as well as this deck. I love using this card for several reasons. 1, it really does look good, and 2, the effect it has off my fire kings or fire beast. Still Swarm Roach. Maestro, or as me and my friends call it, Broke Stroke. And Shockmaster. If you're having mostly a rank 4 Exceed deck, those are cards you're going to run into. Those are cards you want to have. Now these next 4 to round out my extra deck is the reason why I set my deck apart from everyone else. Stardust. All Firefist decks run Stardust. However, if you have not noticed, there is no Starlight Road in my deck. I do side deck 2. And I do have this here just in case. Now, if you remember, if I was talking about Gladiator Beast and Dale, when I use Rescue Rabbit, this is an option I can go into for beat stick reasons. You can send both of the Endales back into the deck to later be reused by my second rabbit. Number 32, Shark Drake. I love this card. I love this card for several reasons. 1, it's 28 attack. 2, if you do attack over a monster, it's always nice to bring it back with 1,000 less attack and hit it again. Just do the extra damage. Basically, it's almost like a kick him while he's down card.
Kind of like Go-Yo Guardian.
Exactly. And this is the last card. Now, I'm not going to say its name, but I'm pretty sure you are well familiar with what this card does. Now, when you're running against fairies, which this deck does pretty well against, but when you're coming across fairies or other decks that basically sends cards to the graveyard and effects going off, I would much rather exceed summon for this card.
Is that it?
That's it.
Alright guys, well this has been a deck profile of Firefist, and be sure to stay tuned for some more deck profiles and box openings in the future. Thanks for watching guys, see you later.